Hey everyone, if you're listening in, you're probably on a mission for some new work boots.
Yeah,
And not just any boots, right? Ones that don't punish your feet, especially if you need a wider fit.
for
A
sure.
4E whip to be exact.
Exactly.
It can feel like an impossible task, right?
Yep.
Finding boots that are both tough enough for work, but won't kill your feet by lunchtime.
Oh, it's definitely a challenge. A lot of people struggle to find that perfect combination of safety and comfort.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you know what? Wearing the wrong boots for too long can actually cause some pretty serious foot problems down the road.
Absolutely. It's not just about comfort during the workday, it's about protecting your feet for the long haul.
So, okay, let's dive into this. We've got some research here on all things work boots.
Sounds good.
Anatomy Safety features even some recommendations specifically for 4E sizes.
Perfect.
I don't know about you, but I was surprised to learn there's a whole science to how work boots are put together.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot more to it than meets the eye.
Our source breaks it down into three main parts. You've got the upper, the midsole, and the outsole.
Right, the basic building blocks.
Yeah, it's kind of like the foundation, framing, and roof of a house, I guess.
I like that analogy. And just like with a house, the materials you use make a huge difference.
True. So for the upper, we're talking about the part that covers the foot, right?
Right.
The source mentions full-grain leather as a popular choice.
Yeah, full grain leather is super durable, but it can take a while to break in.
So you might have to tough it out for a few weeks before they really feel comfortable.
Exactly. On the other hand, you've got synthetic materials, which are lighter.
So less fatigue, right?
Yeah, but they might not be as tough in the long run.
Okay, so durability versus weight, that's a trade-off to consider.
Definitely. And for someone with wider feet, like we're talking about 4E,
Right, 4E.
that upper material needs to be flexible. You don't want it constricting your foot.
Totally. And what about the midsole? That's the cushioning part, right?
Exactly. It's what absorbs the impact when you walk or stand.
So I'm guessing that's super important for all-day comfort.
Especially for wider feet, you need that extra support to distribute the pressure evenly.
To prevent those aches and pains.
Think of it like having the right size tires for your car.
Okay, that makes sense. A smoother ride for your feet.
You got it.
Now let's move on to safety toes. Honestly,
Yeah?
I always thought steel was the only option,
I think a lot of people do.
but turns out there's a whole world of materials out there.
Oh, yeah, you've got composite toes made from things like Kevlar.
Kevlar? Like bulletproof vests.
That's right, or carbon fiber like they use in race cars.
Wow, so high-tech stuff.
Then you've got alloy toes and aluminum toes too, each with their own pros and cons.
So steel is the classic, right?
Yeah.
Strong and affordable,
Yeah, but it's heavy and it conducts heat, which can be a problem.
especially if you work outside in extreme temperatures.
Absolutely. You don't want your toes freezing in the winter or burning in the summer.
Right, so that's where composite toes come in.
Yeah.
They're lighter and don't conduct temperature as much.
Exactly. They can be a real game changer for all-day comfort.
But are there any downsides to going lighter? Do you sacrifice any protection?
Well, composite toes can be a bit bulkier than steel to offer the same level of protection.
So that's something to consider, especially for someone with 4E feet.
Yeah, if you're already struggling to find a work boot that's wide enough, adding extra bulk might not be ideal.
It's to trade off comfort versus protection.
Right. It's about finding that balance that works for you and your job.
Okay, so we talked about the anatomy of a work boot and the different types of safety toes.
We've laid the groundwork.
Now let's get to the good stuff, actual boot recommendations.
I'm ready.
Our research highlights three options that stand out for 4E feet.
Okay, let's hear them.
We've got the Orthofeet Granite, the Apis 6507, and the Haas Cartwright Wellington.
Ooh, some good ones in there.
Have you come across any of these in your work?
I have actually, and they each bring something unique to the table, especially for wider feet.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's start with the Orthofeet Granite. What caught my eye is that it's designed to accommodate orthotics.
Oh yeah, that's a big plus for anyone with specific foot needs.
Yeah, if you've got custom orthotics, you know how hard it can be to find boots that fit them properly.
Definitely, the Orthofeet Granite has a roomy toe box, and it's waterproof too.
Oh, waterproof. That's essential for a lot of jobs.
Absolutely, you don't want to be working in soggy socks all day.
Next up, we've got the Apis 6507. And get this, they go up to a 9E width.
9E, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, they're really catering to those with extra wide feet.
And it's not just the width. The Apis 6507 has a soft toe box, extra ankle padding.
So they're prioritizing comfort.
Absolutely. It's a good example of a boot that doesn't sacrifice comfort for safety.
Okay, and last but not least, we've got the Haas Cartwright Thea Wellington.
Now that's a boot that's built to last.
This one's for those who really put their boots through the ringer.
Yeah, it's got a tall shaft for ankle support, A replaceable sole,
Replaceable sole, that's a great feature.
especially if you're hard on your boots.
So it sounds like all three of these boots, the Orthofeet Granite, the Apis 6507, and the Haas Cartwright Tia Wellington, they're all designed with wider feet in mind.
They are, and they each have their own strengths depending on your specific needs.
Okay, so these are the 4E specific options. But our research also mentions a couple of other boots that might be worth considering,
Right.
even if they don't explicitly come in a 4E width.
Sometimes you can get away with a slightly narrower width if the boot is designed well.
Like the Haas Carson Soft Toe.
Yeah, that one's a good option if you don't need a safety toe.
So for those in less hazardous work environments,
Exactly. It's known for being comfortable and flexible even in wider sizes.
and then there's the Dr. Comfort Boss Work Boot.
Ah, Dr. Comfort.
They specialize in therapeutic footwear, right?
They do. So if you've got existing foot problems like plantar fasciitis,
This could be a good choice.
it's designed with foot health in mind.
Okay, so we've got a good lineup of boots here. But before we go any further, we need to talk about fit,
Yes, fit is crucial.
because even the best boot won't do you any good if it doesn't fit properly.
Exactly. And for wider feet especially, you got to make sure you're not squeezing into something too narrow.
No toe squishing allowed.
And you don't want any heel slippage or rubbing either.
Because those small issues can turn into major problems after a full day on your feet.
Absolutely. Blisters, corns, you name it.
So how do we avoid all that? How do we make sure we're getting the right fit?
Well, first of all, don't just rely on your shoe size.
Ooh.
Work boots often fit differently than regular shoes.
I see. So you can't just assume you'll be the same size.
Right. Our research suggests using a Brannock device to get an accurate measurement.
A Brannock device. You know, I've seen those in shoe stores, but never really knew what they were for.
Yeah, they can look a little intimidating,
They do.
but it's basically just a metal contraption that measures both the length and width of your foot.
Oh, so it takes the guesswork out of sizing.
Exactly. And here's a pro tip.
Okay, I'm listening.
Try on boots in the afternoon when your feet are a bit more swollen from the day.
Ah, that makes sense. Because nobody wants to end up with boots that feel great in the morning but pinch like crazy by lunchtime.
Exactly. You want to make sure they'll be comfortable even after a full day of work.
Okay, so Brannock device afternoon try-ons. Got it.
And don't forget about insoles. Aftermarket insoles can make a huge difference.
Oh yeah, those could really customize the fit.
Especially for wider feet, they can provide that extra support and cushioning you need.
Like a personalized upgrade for your boots.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We talked about work boot anatomy safety toes,
We looked at some recommendations for 4E sizes.
and we even touched on the importance of fit.
It's all connected.
It really is. It's clear that there's a lot more to choosing work boots than meets the eye,
Oh, absolutely. It's not just about grabbing the first pair you see.
especially for those of us with wider feet.
You gotta do your research.
I'm curious what stands out to you as the most important takeaway so far.
For me, it's the fact that you don't have to sacrifice comfort for safety.
Or vice versa.
Exactly. There are boots out there that cater specifically to wider feet.
Like those 90 Apis scoots we talked about.
Yeah, those are pretty remarkable.
It's like finally someone gets it. Wider feet need love too.
Exactly. And investing in the right work boots?
It's an investment in your long-term health and productivity.
Absolutely. Because when your feet are killing you, it's hard to focus on anything else.
So true. So let's take a closer look at those specific boot recommendations. We talked about the Orthofeet Granite, which seems to be a top contender for both comfort and safety.
It really does. It checks a lot of boxes.
And then there's the Apis 6507 with that incredible 90 width.
That's a game changer for a lot of people.
And of course, the Haas Cartwright 2-second Wellington, built tough, but still comfortable.
It's a workhorse.
Okay, we're going to dive deeper into each of these boots in our next segment, but for now, let's take a quick break.
Sounds good. And when we get back, we'll unpack what makes each of these boots so special for wider feet.
All right, welcome back, folks. Let's jump right back into those boot recommendations.
Sounds good.
So we left off talking about the Orthofeet Granite, which seems like a great option for those who need both comfort and safety.
Yeah, it's designed with features that can really help with various foot problems.
Okay, like what kind of features are we talking about?
Well, it's got a roomy toe box, so there's plenty of space for your toes to move around.
So no more cramped toes.
Exactly. And that's especially important if you have things like hammer toes or bunions.
Right, those can make finding comfortable boots a real challenge.
And the Orthofeet Granite also has a cushioned insole for good arch support.
Ah, so it helps with proper foot alignment.
Exactly. And of course, it comes in a wider fit to reduce pressure points.
Yeah, we're all about that 4E life here.
Plus, it's waterproof, which is essential for working in wet conditions.
No soggy socks allowed.
And did you see this? It comes with a set of custom heat moldable inserts.
Heat moldable, what does that mean?
It means you can heat them up and then mold them to the exact shape of your feet.
Wow, so it's like having custom orthotics built right into the boot.
Exactly. And those inserts are valued at $80.
$80. That's a pretty sweet bonus.
It's a great deal, especially if you need that extra level of support and customization.
Okay, I'm impressed with the Orthofeet Granite so far. What about the Apis 6507?
Ah, the Apis 6507, that's the one with the impressive 9E width.
Right, 9E. That's got to be a dream come true for some people.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just about the width, though. The Apis 6507 has a bunch of features that make it super comfortable overall.
Like what?
Well, it's got a soft toe box, so there's no rigid material pressing against your toes.
Ah, that sounds much more pleasant.
And it has extra ankle padding to prevent rubbing and blisters.
Because blisters are the worst.
The absolute worst. And the interior lining is smooth and seamless to reduce friction.
So you've really thought of everything.
It seems like it. And here's another cool thing. It comes with not one, but 3 sets of bonus inserts.
3 sets. Wow, they're not messing around.
And these inserts are heat moldable too, so you can really customize the fit.
Okay, I'm sensing a trend here. Heat moldable inserts seem to be the way to go.
They're definitely becoming more and more popular, and for good Reason.
All right, let's move on to the Hoss Cartwright 2 Wellington. Now, this one's for the heavy hitters.
Yeah, this is the boot for those who really put their boots through the ringer day in and day out.
Construction workers, linemen, anyone who needs a boot that can handle some serious wear and tear.
Exactly. It's built to last.
So tell me about its features.
Well, it's got a 10-inch shaft for excellent ankle support.
So no twisted ankles.
And it has a composite safety toe that meets ASTM standards.
ASTM standards.
That's the American Society for Testing and Materials. They set safety standards for all sorts of things, including work boots.
Ah, so you know this boot has been rigorously tested.
Exactly. And it's got a slip and oil-resistant outsole to keep you on your feet, even on slippery surfaces.
Safety first.
Absolutely. But here's the thing. Despite its rugged build, the Hoss Cartwright II, Wellington doesn't skimp on comfort.
Really? I would thought a tough boot like that would be kind of stiff and uncomfortable.
Nope. It's got a waterproof membrane, an ergonomic insole, extra padding. It's all there.
Wow, so they've managed to combine durability and comfort.
It's the best of both worlds. And you know what else it comes with?
What?
Custom heat moldable inserts. Those bonus gifts worth $80.
Seriously? Every boot we've talked about has these inserts.
It seems like they're becoming an industry standard, and I'm not complaining.
They sound
They
amazing.
really are a game changer for finding that perfect fit.
Okay, so we've got the tough and durable Hoss Cartwright II, Wellington.
Yep.
What about the Haas Carson Soft Toe? This one's for those who don't need a safety toe, right?
Right. This is more of an everyday work boot for those in less hazardous environments.
Like if you work in an office or a retail store?
Exactly. It's still a tough boot made from durable, water-resistant leather.
But it's more flexible and comfortable for everyday wear.
Exactly. And it's got those slip-resistant outsoles, a comfy insole, extra ankle padding, all the good stuff.
And I bet it comes with those custom heat moldable inserts, too.
You guessed it. They're included with this one as well.
Okay, so the Haas Carson Soft Toe, a good option for those who prioritize comfort and flexibility.
Definitely a solid choice.
All right, last but not least, we've got the Dr. Comfort Boss Work Boot. Now, this one's specifically designed for people with foot conditions, right?
Right. Things like diabetes, plantar fasciitis, any kind of foot issue that requires special attention.
Dr. Comfort is known for their therapeutic footwear, so I'm guessing this boot is packed with features to keep your feet happy and healthy.
Oh, yeah. It likely has extra room to accommodate custom orthotics if you need them.
And a protective toe box to prevent injuries.
And of course, those high-quality insoles we've been talking about.
It sounds like a solid option for anyone who's prioritizing their foot health and well-being.
It really does. It's designed with comfort and support in mind.
Okay, so we've got 5 fantastic options for 4E work boots here. Each one caters to different needs, but they all share one thing in common.
What's that?
They're designed to keep your feet happy and healthy no matter what kind of work you do.
And that's the most important thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. Because when your feet are happy, you can focus on getting the job done.
And you can avoid those long-term foot problems we talked about earlier.
Right, no one wants to deal with chronic pain or mobility issues down the road.
So invest in your feet, folks. It's worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to remind everyone about those fit tips we discussed earlier.
Oh, yes. Those are crucial.
Using a Brannock device to get an accurate measurement, trying boots on in the afternoon when your feet are a bit swollen.
And considering aftermarket insoles for extra support and customization.
All great advice.
Especially for wider feet. You want to make sure you're getting the best possible fit.
Because even a slightly snug fit can become a nightmare after a few hours on your feet.
Trust me, I've been there.
So take your time, do your research, try on different styles, and don't be afraid to ask for help from a knowledgeable salesperson.
They can be a valuable resource.
Okay, I think we've covered just about everything there is to know about finding the perfect 4E work boots.
We've done a deep dive.
We have. But before we sign off, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay, I'm listening.
We've talked about work boots from a personal perspective, right?
Right.
Finding the right fit, the right features, all that.
Right.
But I think it's also worth considering the bigger picture.
The bigger picture.
Yeah, like how work boots play a role in workplace safety and productivity.
I see what you're getting at.
It's easy to think of work boots as just another piece of equipment. But they actually have a huge impact on our well-being and our ability to do our jobs effectively.
That's a really good point. I mean, when you're comfortable and supported, you can focus on the task at hand and get more done.
Exactly. And when workers have the right boots, it can lead to fewer accidents and injuries.
Which benefits everyone, really.
Totally. Workplace injuries cost businesses a lot of money. Lost workdays, medical expenses, even insurance premiums.
And for individuals, those injuries can have long-lasting effects. We're not just talking about a few days of discomfort here.
Right. Foot problems can impact your mobility and quality of life.
It's serious stuff.
That's why it's so important to find work boots that truly fit and support your feet, especially if you have wider feet.
And for employers, providing their workers with the right footwear is a sign of commitment to their well-being and safety.
It shows that they care about their employees' health and want to create a work environment where everyone can thrive.
Exactly. It fosters trust and a positive workplace culture.
So it's not just about the individual worker, it's about the entire workplace.
It's about creating a culture of safety and well-being.
I like that. Okay, I think we've come full circle here.
We've explored all angles.
We've talked about work boot construction safety features, fit tips.
We've looked at recommendations for 4E sizes.
Well, we've even discussed the broader implications of choosing the right footwear.
It's been a comprehensive deep dive.
It really has.
Uh,
So what would you say is the key takeaway from all of this?
For me, it's don't underestimate the power of a good pair of work boots.
Yeah, they're more than just a piece of equipment.
They're an investment in your health, your comfort, your ability to perform at your best.
And if you have wider feet, don't settle for boots that don't fit properly.
There are options out there. You just got to do your research.
Absolutely. Here's one last thought for our listeners.
Okay, hit me with it.
Think about your work environment and the specific demands of your job.
Right. What kind of hazards are you facing? What kind of terrain are you working on?
Do you need waterproof boots?
If-
Slip resistant, heat resistant.
Do you need a steel toe or a composite toe?
Choosing the right boot is about more than just size and width. It's about finding the features that will keep you safe, comfortable, and productive on the job.
Exactly. Take what you've learned from this deep dive, explore the recommendations we've discussed, and find those work boots that will help you tackle any task with confidence and comfort.
Happy boot hunting, everyone. And don't forget about those fit tips we talked about using a Brannock device.
Right.
Trying boots on in the afternoon when your feet are a bit more swollen.
And those aftermarket insoles.
Yeah, those can make a world of difference.
Absolutely. A well-fitting work boot is an investment.
In your health, your comfort, your productivity.
All of the above.
You know, it's interesting. We've been talking about work boots from a very personal perspective.
Right. Finding the right fit for you.
The right features,
Yeah.
making sure they're comfortable.
Yeah.
But I think it's also worth considering the bigger picture.
The bigger picture. How so?
Well, like how work boots play a role in workplace safety and productivity overall.
Ah, I see what you mean.
It's easy to think of work boots as just another piece of equipment,
Right. Just part of the uniform.
but they actually have a huge impact on our well-being and our ability to do our jobs effectively,
Yeah. When you're comfortable and supported, you can focus on the task at hand.
get more done.
Exactly. And when workers have the right boots, it can lead to fewer accidents and injuries.
Which benefits everyone, really.
Absolutely.
Workplace injuries cost businesses a lot of money.
Lost workdays, medical expenses, insurance premiums, it adds up.
And for individuals, those injuries can have long-lasting effects.
Yeah. We're not just talking about a few days of discomfort here.
Right foot problems can impact your mobility and quality of life.
It's serious stuff,
That's why it's so important to find work boots that truly fit and support your feet.
especially if you have wider feet.
Absolutely.
And for employers, providing their workers with the right footwear.
It's a sign of commitment, to their well-being,
to their safety,
shows that they care about their employees' health.
and that they want to create a work environment where everyone can thrive.
Exactly. It fosters trust.
A positive workplace culture.
So it's not just about the individual worker.
Right. It's about the whole team.
It's about creating a culture of safety and well-being.
I like that a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we've come full circle here.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We've talked about work boot, construction safety features, fit tips,
We looked at recommendations for 4E sizes.
and we even discussed the broader implications of choosing the right footwear.
It's been a thorough deep dive.
It really has. So what would you say is the key takeaway from all of this?
Don't underestimate the power of a good pair of work boots.
They're more than just a piece of equipment.
They're an investment in yourself.
In your health, your comfort, your ability to do your best work.
Exactly.
And if you have wider feet,
Don't settle.
don't settle for boots that don't fit properly.
There are options out there.
You just got to do your research.
That's the key.
Here's one last thought for our listeners.
Okay, go ahead.
Think about your work environment,
Right.
the specific demands of your job.
What kind of hazards are you facing? What kind of terrain will you be on?
Do you need waterproof boots?
Slip resistant,
Heat resistant?
steel toe or composite toe.
Choosing the right boot is about more than just size and width.
It's about finding the features that will keep you safe, comfortable, and productive on the job.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So take what you've learned from this deep dive
Explore those recommendations we talked about
and find those work boots that will help you tackle any task.
with confidence and comfort.
Happy boot hunting, everyone!